Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Adopt a Youth Foundation Personal Development Session. And this evening, we are talking about a very important, fun, passionate topic that all of us are interested in. Some of us more interested than others. We are talking about money. Money. Many persons want to amass a lot of money while others get it and in short order lose it. So we want to look on some of the things that will help us to one, get it, and secondly, to use it optimally. Okay? There is a thought process that rich people don't use their own money to make other money, but they leverage it. And this evening, we are going to look on how we, who are not yet rich in cash, can utilize the same principles that the man up top is using so that we can reach up top as well. It is my pleasure to introduce to you two of our directors in the Adopt a Youth Foundation, who are entrepreneurs, who are passionate individuals in their own field, who will be sharing from their own experience and knowledge some nuggets that can help us to become profitable and stay profitable. So this evening, we have two of our directors, as I said, Jannette Lumley, who is in Canada. Part of Canada are you again, Jannette? Ontario?
Toronto, more
Toronto.
Ontario, yes.
Okay. Well, a lot of us who are in Jamaica don't know anywhere in Canada too tough. You know, everywhere is Ontario or Toronto. Okay. And we also have Jennifer Williams. You're also in Toronto, Jennifer?
I live in Brampton, Ontario. I have to drive to Toronto. So
Okay.
it's an outskirt of Toronto. Yeah.
All right. So you know who did the geography more than 30 years ago, right? So I am going to hand right over to our director, Jannette Lumley, who is going to kick us off on tonight's topic. We are looking at leveraging other people's money to make money. Jannette, over to you.
Thank you, Richard. And I must say, you touched on many parts of the subjects that we'll be talking about tonight. Must introduce myself. So my name is Jannette Lumley. Been in Canada for over 4 decades, so over 40 years. I'm an entrepreneur. Also, I started an organization about 2 years ago, On the Move. So in the background here, that's my logo. And also out of that, I brought to the forefront the BNO, which is the Business Networking Opportunities component of OTM, which is On the Move. So when doing all these, you may wonder, why am I doing all these things? This is how I'm trying to leverage with whatever I have to make it possible for me and my family. So I'm gonna show a PowerPoint presentation but before I do that, Ms. Williams, you wanna introduce yourself as well?
Certainly. My name is Jennifer Williams, and I got to give you a little joke. Right now, I am sitting in my car because I had a function for tonight where I do photography on the side. So I'm multitasking and I'm leveraging and trying to build my estate for my children for later on. So just in case you see me look kind of uncomfortable at times, I'm in the car. So my name is Jennifer Williams. I'm a mother of 5 children, 7 grandkids. I've been in Canada since 1971. I think it's time to come home to Jamaica, come back to Jamaica, you know that song. And so I am an entrepreneur. I am embarking up on a new career and finally going back to my financial license. So being here is going to be having this conversation about money management. I will be sharing with you some of the things that I've done and what we've been doing to help us with our money management.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer, for that. So I'll be starting the presentation, money management. And Jennifer and I will be, interacting. She'll be speaking, I'll be speaking as well as we go through the slides. Can you see? Can you see the presentation?
No.
Sorry, for a second, then it came off screen. Try again. It came on and then went off.
Is it on now?
Not yet.
No?
No.
No, it is coming up, and we are seeing, this looks like
We're not seeing the PowerPoint, Janet.
we're seeing like a website.
Yeah, okay, hold on, please. I need to get to the. This presentation is brought to you by myself and Jennifer Williams. So money management. What is money management? So based on our research, we found that money management refers to the processes of budgeting, saving, investing, spending, which is also expenses, and also saving, could be banking. As well, there's financial planning, personal insurance, investment, plan to build assets, and debt elimination. Jennifer, can you elaborate a little bit?
Okay, so for the financial planning, some of the things that we can look as far as financial planning is looking into sitting down with a financial analyst at the bank or a insurance agent. And so that way you can be introduced to different types of insurance that can help you to invest and to also cover your life just in case anything happens, so that the people you leave behind are not in a bad space when you are gone. So financial planning, you can, you're never too young to have life insurance, and that's something that you can look into. And it can help you to, it can help you with a roadmap to get you started on your road to independence, financial independence.
And also debt elimination. So sometimes in life, we accumulate debts, and sometimes it gets so out of control that we have to figure out how we can eliminate those debts. So maybe that's a question you can ask later after we finish a presentation. Maybe to get your feedback, how you are strategizing, how to get rid of debt. The next slide is about savings. So saving is income not spent, such as putting money aside for rainy day or rainy day fund. For example, establish a deposit account like a bank account, a pension account, investment fund, or cash. So on this rainy day, I have a more defined definition for that, which is on the next slide. But establishing a bank account, it's important for you to have, or for us to have, a bank account, as it says, for rainy days. You never know what can happen, and you may need cash I'm going to go into the slides, which will touch on those areas of savings. Also a pension account. Yes, we know that you're very young. Here in Canada, from you start working as young as 15 or 16, Jennifer can confirm that. You work, what they will do, you have a social insurance number, like your TRN. And from that, it is set up, it is structured through the government, through Canada Revenue Agency, that when you work based on the system that they've put into place, you can now put money aside through a pension account. That's what they call it. They call it RRSP, Registered Retirement Saving Plan. They also have RESP, which is Registered Educational Savings Plan. So the RRSP is for when you reach retirement age, which every year they're trying to increase it. So now I think it's 65 or 67 for that. Then you can apply for that pension that they've been putting aside for you. And that works where they take a percentage from that. You, the employee, will contribute, and also the employer contributes into that system. There are other ways too where you can invest your money. There's mutual funds. There is different kinds of investments. Now, as we know, we have cryptocurrencies and all these, which are alternatives to investment, and obviously cash. Jennifer, do you have anything to add to that saving component?
One of the things I wanted us to interact a little bit, because when it comes to savings, we've spoken about opening up a savings account. In the chat, how many of you have looked into opening up a savings account if you don't already have it? Can you just put some information in the chat so that we have an idea if you're utilizing the information that we're providing you, so that you, at least you can say, yes, since we've spoken, since we've had this platform going, you have taken the initiative to open up a savings account. So please put it in the chat. There is something to come at the end of this conversation. So let us know how many of you have opened up a savings account or has a savings account. And what does savings mean to you? What does savings mean to you as well?
Jennifer, you don't have to give away the secret. Wow.
Listen, they're gonna take part in the chat, please.
All right, yes, so as Jennifer said, there might be at the end of this, based on interaction engagement, we may have a little token for you, all right? So we're reaching out to see, you know, if you're understanding the concept of money and so forth. I'll give you a story. When my daughter was in grade 8, she went to school and they're playing Monopoly. I'm not sure how many of you are aware of Monopoly. And what had happened there, they gave her something like $20,000 to spend. In 5 minutes, all that was gone. And she said she was so upset because everybody else had money left over, right, to spend. She didn't have any. So that's an experience why you need to save. Because I guess she thought of just buying this, and not thinking of rainy day, all right? So, as I said earlier, what is a rainy day fund? So a rainy day is a type of saving that is a reserve amount of money to be used in times when regular income is disrupted or decreased in order for typical operations. So for example, you want to take a vacation, right? Or fix, if you have a house and you want to fix a broken window, or even if you have children and you want to send them to Canada, for example, to summer camp, this kind of fund can help you to achieve that. And then as we go further, we will let you know ways of how you can accomplish that. Jennifer, anything to be added?
No, not at this time. No, not on this one.
Yes, so that is the rainy day fund, and some of us know it as compulsory savings as well, right? So that's what that is. Now, this is a question for the mentees and also mentors. How many of you work or receive an allowance? That's a question. How many of you work? So if you do you save from that? Like, do you save from the allowance that you receive or from your work? And if you do so, how much do you save? So in this case, you can save up to 10% of every cent you receive. For example, if you are given $100, 10% of $100 is $10. If you do that over time, do you know how much money you can accumulate? Now, I'm a licensed hairstylist here in Toronto, in Ontario. And I remember when I was working in the industry years ago, I went to a seminar, and this is why we have to continuously educate in ourselves, especially when you're an entrepreneur, because when you're an entrepreneur, it is very difficult, not aligning yourself with other businesses, because sometimes you don't have the time. So when you do get an opportunity to go somewhere to get the education on how you can apply yourself effectively in your company. So I went to a seminar, and there the gentleman spoke of paying yourself 10%. So every time that you earn something, even if doesn't matter what it is, you put 10% aside. And what I did from my tips that I used to get, sometimes I get $10, I saved 10% religiously. Over 3 months, I was able to accumulate over $700, right? Based on how much I received. So it could be to your advantage that every time you get money for allowance or even from your work, put away 10% and watch it grow. So, and you put out a goal. I want to do this within 7 months. I want to do this within 5 months. And don't touch that money until you reach that goal. So ways of achieving saving from allowance are working, or you could prepare your own food, meaning that if you're working or you're going to school, you can bring your own lunch. So that could help you to save that money that you would pay for lunch. I'm not sure about you, but McDonald's here in Toronto, like just a kid's meal is almost $10 now, right? That money you could put away. You don't have to use it if you save that every day. Practice self-control when spending money. So discipline yourself when you go out there, right? With money, how you're spending. Be creative. So you have to figure out ways and means of how can I save effectively? If you're not sure, ask someone, get education on that. How? Maybe your banker, maybe an investor, maybe financial planning, as we said earlier in a slide. Whatever it is to save that money. Surround with like-minded people. So associate yourself with people who are heading there. So if you're in school, your friends that you're hanging out with, which both of you are speaking the same language. Or you can also walk instead of taking a taxi if necessary. So if the distance is not too far for you to go, you can walk, right? Not too late, because I know in Jamaica, a lot of those roads don't have sidewalks, right? When you're walking. So just be mindful when you're on your walk. But yeah, these are ways of how you can achieve saving those monies. Jennifer?
Okay, I would like to look at it at another way, savings. You know how when we were younger, or even now, our grandparents, how we started off with, how our grandparents started off with savings as partner. And to this day, we still do the partner because it's a way for us to save and to pay some bills, because I grew up with that environment. Now here in Canada, what we have something, and it is up to our parents to do this for us. As a life insurance agent, and you can buy it through life insurance, is to open up a segregated fund for savings for our children, whether or not you want to, it all depends if they want to go to school, university, which a lot of our children here online are going, or youth, I should say, are going to university, that you can use a segregated fund by putting away, say like $50 a month, and that can help you to acquire an amount for later on in life. But here in Canada, I don't know if it's the same thing in Jamaica, you're guaranteed, if anything should happen, that you will get 75% of what you put into the savings for what you save. So that's something that you here online can speak to your parents about, or you can look into it and then let your parents know that you're actively looking into this investment, this form of investment, so that you can have some money later on. That is what you call using money, using other people's money, even though it's your money as well, is a combination of your money depositing into an investment so that you can accumulate funds later on in life. And that's what I would like to add to this section of money management.
Yes, and I forgot to mention as well, as a young child in Jamaica, because Jennifer came here 71, I came here 75. And growing up in Jamaica, my great grandmother, what she did at that time, Barclays Bank used to have accounts for children. And how you acquire that account is through stamps, like postage stamps. So she was able to go buy stamps, and that's how I was able to get my first bank account through Barclays Bank, right? So what you can also do is to find out with your parents, if you're not of age, how you can open up a savings account at a bank. If you're underage, like here in Canada, I think it's under 16, it has to go into a trust. It has to go into a trust account. So your parents, mom and dad, would be able to open up that account for you with your name in it. And you wouldn't be able to, if they put stipulation or restrictions on it, you wouldn't be able to maybe access those funds until maybe 18. You understand? So there are different ways of how you can save as well. Now, I think Richie had somewhat mentioned this about leveraging money, or Jennifer. So you can leverage money, that you can borrow money to increase on your investment. So depending if you have something that you want so badly, and I must say, purchasing a car, right? There's no return on investment for a car. As soon as you drive that car off the lot, it depreciates. So if you also want to get to that level where you're building wealth, if you're gonna buy a car, don't buy a new one, buy a used car. I would more look at a house, or now they have Airbnb. All these investment opportunities are out there. So you can borrow money from the bank, for example, and then use that to leverage your money and get the rate of return on what you borrow. So you can borrow other people's money to build wealth. Jennifer?
I agree with that. That's that is pretty, that's a good start. You know, we don't want to, for these young people, the leveraging is for a little bit later on. It's a little bit more complex. So that would be a different conversation, but this is the basic that we wanted to provide you with so that you have an idea of what leveraging is. So we'll move on to the next slide.
Thanks. Okay, so there are ways how you can grow money quickly. If you buy a vehicle, right? You can now use that vehicle as a means of transportation to make money. Maybe, I'm not sure about Jamaica, but a lot of persons here, they buy a vehicle to do moving. They purchase a vehicle to, yeah, to basically, especially trucks and that, transporting goods, because now you have a contract with a company and you're getting paid with that from that contract that you established. Also, you can still have your side job. So that vehicle that you buy, you could use it at a part-time. I see in Jamaica, a lot of persons purchase taxis and they give individual taxis to drive. That's also another way how you can benefit from making extra income to build wealth. But you can also save to buy a house. House appreciates, right, when you purchase it. So yes, you could buy a home and have it as a rental income or even a house, depending on your financial situation, right? That's another way, but we're gonna say to avoid unnecessary spending. So if you don't have to spend all the time, don't. Save a percentage of your income. So going back to what I said about that 10%, from every paycheck that you get, you would save 10% from it, right? You can also invest in your education, because once you establish that with your education, now you're in a better position to get a better paying job. And also you can venture into a business like Jennifer and myself, we're doing. We're older, but at the same time, we're not stopping, because we know with business, it will take it to another level. A business can be used as a pension income at a later date. You can lease it. There are many advantages of owning a business. All right, so anything else on that, Jennifer?
In the chat, I just wanted to ask a question. How many of you here on the chat that are working, so that I have an idea of how many people have that money to possibly put away 10%. So in the chat, if you want to just put some information in there, we'd appreciate it.
Thanks. Okay, so we touched on this as well, about using other people's money to build wealth. This is like a repeat of what we're doing, but I guess you'll get the picture at the end of this, what exactly we're doing. So we can buy a house with that money, right? Again, that's building wealth. It's not something, in real estate, you can buy a property, and I'm not sure about Jamaica, but here you can flip it. So you can buy today and tomorrow. This is an hypothetical situation. You can purchase that property today and flip it tomorrow or next week and make a little money on it, right? So real estate is one of those areas that is lucrative in terms of building wealth. Rental income is also another way of gaining wealth. Silent partners, and I have the definition here. It says it's an individual who have limited involvement in the day-to-day operation of your business. So there might be somebody out there who may have some extra money at a whatever percentage at a rate that you can now borrow that money from to use it to also build wealth. But you have to ensure where you're going to invest it. And also angel investments are, wealthy private investors who focus on financing small businesses, and Airbnb also. And I'll go back to angel investment. So for those of you who knows Michael Jagdale, that's the business he does. So he goes out, he's like a headhunter, they call him. So he will go out and look for individual who have small loans or who wants to invest into a particular business, and he just refer individuals that could take on. That's his primary business. He may never said, but that's his business that he does. Jennifer?
One of the things that I would like to touch on, and in Jamaica right now, here in Canada, as Janet's talking about buying homes and so on, a lot of people are moving over to the farming. So if that's something that you can do to start small, at least you can have some way of getting your products out there, because there's a lot of international movements with merengue, with sarsaparilla, even with mangoes and things like that. It might seem like it is a lot of work, but if you start small, you don't have to just sell to Jamaica. There's people doing farming that are moving things in Canada and all over the world. That's something that you can look into. You can be different. You don't have to do what everybody's doing. Just look for the next niche that you can get involved in. Social media, you can document your journey and share it with other people. And that's one of the things that I wanted to share with you tonight, is that there's a lot of ways to accumulate wealth, but you just got to get into it at the right time. So those are some things you could research to get it done, to acquire wealth, to build wealth.
And also, sorry, Jennifer, you finished?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, and also as an entrepreneur as well, when you have a business, I did a course years ago, and one of the things I left with is that when you have a business, it has a cycle. And once it gets to the plateau, if you're not careful, you have to close down. So what they're saying is that always be creative, to have something in case your business is gonna fall. You always have another part of it, an extension of services that you can offer. And for example, this week or last week, there's a restaurant that opened. I acquired a small space here. And while I was there, the gentleman, you know what he made? And we may probably think this is crazy. I don't know, Jennifer, if I told you. He made red peas porridge, all right? Who would ever thought that red peas could be porridge? So I go, red peas porridge. So when I tasted it, it tasted like banana porridge, but it's really red peas. Then yesterday I went up there, he made pumpkin porridge. Again, that tasted like cornmeal. So what I'm saying, we're just going back a little bit of what Jennifer is saying, creativity. You don't have to stuck in that one area. You can think of ways and means of how you can be creative in your business. Another thing that he created is plantain hamburger, plantain burger, okay? Plantain burger, and he garnished it with cheese, vegetarian cheese, lettuce, tomato. Actually, it's not bad. So if you like plantain, but it has to be right plantain, that is something that you can look at. I just met a young lady just recently. She came from Jamaica a year now, and she's doing plantain flour. And she sent me a picture yesterday. She made a fritters in it, like how in Jamaica, how you'd mix up the saltfish and the seasoning. That's all you have to add. It's pre-mixed. So all you have to add is just flavor. And now she's putting that out on the market. So with the way how the world is going, you cannot be sitting down with a one-track mind. You always have to have an open mind to your business if you decided to take the entrepreneurial route. Jennifer, anything else?
No, no.
Okay, this may not apply to you now, but I just thought I added in. So I'm not sure if you're aware what bankruptcy is. So sometimes it happened to me. So I thought I put that in, and I'll just give you a little story as well. So when I turned 18 years old, I got a credit card. That credit card had a $10,000 on it. No, listen, I went on a shopping spree, thinking I have a lot of money. So I spent, because I got it, because normally here around Christmas time, you would be given a credit card because they know how to manipulate people, right? So they wait until, well, like when you're in need and they said, hey, we can give you a credit. So I got this credit card. I went and I shopped for my brother, my friend, everybody. Guess what? That was December, just before Christmas. By the end of December, I was in financial deficit because there was no education. Nobody was there to tell me anything about how to manage money and all that. So I'm just sharing you to say, avoid bankruptcy. Try not to get into a delinquency with your account, right? Try to sustain it, maintain it, cherish it. So I'll go back a little bit on how you can keep your account and get you to the level that you want to get to in terms of leveraging money. So here are some points that I can share to avoid bankruptcy. So think of your financial future. You may need to purchase an item. In Jamaica, they have a lot of resorts. You can acquire one of those. If you have land, you can build. But if you don't have credit, it's not going to happen. So secure credit. So think of your financial future. Maintain your job and home. So these things they will look at stability, right? To avoid bankruptcy. Start saving money and build up and work with a budget, right? Regular monitor your credit rating. So when I check, I think I have it on the next slide with the credit rating in Jamaica. Here, anything over 700 and up, it's considered good credit. However, if you don't try to establish it, you can't get anything on your credit because they don't know anything about you, right? Establish an emergency fund, which we spoke about on that rainy day fund, same thing. And if for whatever reason you find that your credit is deteriorating, try to reestablish it. I just thought I had that in. Anything you want to add, Jennifer?
Yeah, I wanted to share with you guys my story. But just like Jannette did, we have our credit card, use credit cards, and then we have a job, and I call it just over broke. So what happened is I decided I wanted to buy a house. And when I look at my credit rating, I wasn't bankrupt, but when I look at my credit rating, it had fell. So 650 or under 5, it's low here in Canada. So what happened is I went into the bank and I pulled my credit, and I had plans on buying a house, and I didn't have the money. I was actually making in Canadian, and I'm not afraid to say it, $285 a week. This is a woman with a husband and children. I was coming home with $285 a week. And the reason why also I was coming home with $285 a week was because I was putting away 5% to buy stocks in the company that I work for, and I still work there today. So I work for FedEx full-time, if you guys don't know, and I've been there 22 years. But I bought stocks over the years, but my credit wasn't good. I wanted to buy a house so that I can have a home for my children and I. And so what happened is when I went to the bank, you can't get a loan. You have to have 20% down for a house that you want to purchase. And I didn't have that. What I did is I walked in and I got to know who the bank manager is. And I introduced myself. I borrowed money for something called an RRSP, where you can put money back for your future, for your retirement. And that's how I rebuilt my credit. And I bought my house in I had a house built. I bought a new build, and I got it built in 2 years, and I was back on track. So it is possible to do it, but the reason why I'm here today is to tell you guys, do not go that route. It's harder to go that route. So what you want to do is you want to get the answers now, not when you're in the dilemma. Speak to your banking representative, speak to your financial analyst, speak to your insurance people, get to know people in the financial industry so that they can guide you in the right path. That is what I would like to say about this section of avoiding bankruptcy and getting an emergency fund going. That's it. Next one.
Jennifer, yes, I'm going on to the next slide, which is building your credits, your credit rating or your credit score. So when I did the research for Jamaica, it tells me that it ranges from 250 to 900 in Jamaica credit score. Here in Canada, as I said, I think they take you, Jennifer, from what, 450?
Yeah.
Yeah, so about
450 to 600 is low.
Okay, so maybe 650 and up.
Yeah.
You know, for that perfect, or not necessarily perfect, for them to even consider you to get any type of credit. So what you need to do, however, the higher your credit score, creditors can now trust you, right? To give you. However, if you don't establish your credit, it can also be a deterrent for you because they don't know anything, you don't have any credit history. So what you need to do is take time, build it, build your credit. Go and purchase a small item, pay for it before the 30 days or whatever time they give you on, if it's a credit card. Just try to establish something with a banker or a creditor, as Jennifer was saying, because that will help you to get the credit that you want. Jennifer and myself are here in Canada, and we see with the Chinese, we see with the Jews, we see with the Indians how they come into this country and they establish themselves. I mean, where Jennifer is, she can tell you, it's all Indians, right? Where I am, it's a mixture, right? And there are certain parts of the city or in Ontario where it's dominated by certain race, because there was no one to sit us down and show us money management. That's the problem. So once we saw money, we just say, oh, I have this amount of money I can spend, but it's not so. So we're sharing this information to open up your eyes because you're young. We never had anybody to sit us down and show us anything as it relates to money management. We had to learn it on our own, right? So you can access credit easily from individual and institution once you build your credit. You have to have a pattern of the ability to repay. You have to balance your debt, and also age have a lot to do with it. So if you're like 18, nobody's gonna give you a credit for a house, you understand? But you have the ability to build it till maybe, I'm not sure what age you can, maybe 25, 30, I don't know. And they also look at payment history as well. Your payment pattern, how do you pay? Do you pay, do you let it go over the time? Because then if you do, interest is gonna incur, right? So you always have to pay it within that 30 days or whatever it is to build your credit. So, and if that appears on your credit, we call it credit bureau. I'm not sure what they call it in Jamaica. Jennifer?
It's the same thing in Jamaica, Jannette, the credit bureau.
Okay, all right, thanks, Jackie. Yeah.
With the credit score, one of the things that is very hurt, like Jannette says, when you don't pay on time, there's something called an R9, that if you have an R9 on your reading on your credit score, it's going to take a a very long time to get your credit started again, because it's like it's not debt. It's somebody posting on there that you are not consistent with your pay. So
Okay, so we have,
pay, but don't not pay it.
okay, so we're gonna, because we have like about 5 minutes and we don't want to go over into the AWC. So I'm just gonna run through these slides quickly, you know, to just share with you what we believe in money management and what the future possibly looks like moving forward. So the next slide I'll be sharing with you is sustaining your credit. So we touch on that a little bit. So you can use your credit by paying the credit card immediately after each use so that you build your credit effectively to avoid being on the credit bureau and also avoid delinquent account. We touched on some of these already. There are types of investments. So now that we're going into a reset, the new world that is coming, I don't think real estate will ever go. But we have these different type of investment called blockchains, right? That's Bitcoin, Ethereum, which is here, and many others, right? You could look at those for investments, but you have to be careful. And here in Canada, I'm not sure about Jamaica, they have mutual funds, right? Which is less risky. However, the bank uses these to leverage what they're doing. And sometimes when you check their what do they call it? I think prospectus or whatever, it's hefty, millions of dollars, because they take our money and invest it into these different funds to build. And as a result, the rate of return that we're getting on these, especially the mutual fund, right, is minimal. You're lucky if you get 1 or 2%. So those are some method of investment, but look into blockchains. That is something that's where NFT and the old 9 yards is coming in. Ali Hershey will be coming in at a later date to talk about more on NFT, all right? Okay, so we're going down to the final now. So let me touch on this one first, and then I'll go back to the last question. So I would like to know in the chat, what's your take on Russia invasion on Ukraine? Is it affecting us economically, financially? You know, just in a few words or whatever, your take on that. And also, now this is a question for the reward. So whoever gets it correctly, we'll announce the gift shortly. But this is what it says. What would you do if given $2 million today? How would you prioritize your spending in the following order? So there's savings, investment, and budgeting. Which in 1, 2, and 3, which order do you think would prioritize you to get you to that level of managing money and get you to build financial wealth?
You want persons to raise their hands or type in the chat? Which one?
They can put it in the chat.
Okay.
So I must say, thank you guys so much for listening. Jennifer and myself, you know, we collaborated together quite well because she had an experience, I had an experience, and that's why this was easy, very easy for us to put together because we based it on our lives itself, all right? So I'm gonna end the sharing this and then go back to regular. Okay, yes, everyone, so anybody put any, because if you put answers in the chat, it would mean that, guess what? We have a giveaway tonight for cash.
All right, we have some answers here. Do you want me to read them for you?
Yes, please.
Okay. Jodel, I think, I hope that's the proper pronunciation. Sutherland Seabright says 3, 2, 1 in terms of the order.
Yeah.
Mikey says budget, save, invest. Alicia says budget. Yes, Mikey said budget, save, invest.
Yeah.
Alicia says budget, saving, investment. Kimani says save 10%. That is 200,000. Jamelia says save, budget, invest. Imani again says budget what I am going to use and then invest where possible. And Jackie said budget, invest, save.
Okay, so Jennifer, you want to maybe
So
answer?
here's what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to put the budget, the save, invest is what we were looking for.
Right.
Okay, so the
for
first
everyone-
person who said that.
Yes, who's the first person that said that? Let me
Who said it?
Well, Jadel said 3, 2, 1. What was 3? I don't remember what was 3.
3.
On your slide. What was 3 on your slide?
I don't, Jennifer, you remember what was?
Look back on your slide and
Hold on, please.
No.
that was the first response. Go back one.
Okay, so it's 3, 2, 1. So,
Budget, invest, save.
so 3, 2, 1. So that person is also correct.
So
Budget is.
budget, invest, save is the order you're looking for.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Well,
Well,
yeah.
Well, in that case, I don't think we have anybody beside Jadel
I
who
said
said
that.
that.
No, it
I
doesn't.
say-
No, it's a 3.
To
Budget, save, and invest is what we were looking for.
so
So
it's not
3,
3, 2, 1.
3, 1, 2.
No.
Right.
My
Okay.
God will be the first
You
one.
have to- the reason why you have to
need-
budget yourself first, then once you budget, then you can save. And then after that, then you can invest.
Yes. Mhm.
Awesome, awesome. Well, congratulations, Mikey.
So who's the winner?
Mikey.
Mikey, I think Mikey. I saw
Yes,
Mikey's name for Mikey first.
Okay, so
8:15.
Mikey,
Yeah.
congratulations, because I'm not sure what you can do with it, but we thought to share $300, sorry, $3,000 cash, which I'm not sure who I should send it to or who should send it to, but that's what we giving away tonight.
Is that Jamaican or US?
I'm sorry.
Jamaican Jackie.
Okay, because Mikey lives in the US. So
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Okay, so that's fine. So we just have to figure out I'll figure it out, how to convert.
Yeah, man. Mikey is saying send it to Miss Jackie Johnson, please.
I'll send it to you.
Oh, excuse me. It goes a long way when it comes to Jackie.
Okay, Jackie, I'll send it.
Awesome, awesome.
Just send me your email.
I hope you guys had an amazing evening and my first presentation. Thank you for having me. And thank you. Have a good night. I have to leave now. Sorry.
All right, well, thank you very much, Jennifer. Thank you very much. Jannette, you guys did a great job. We have a recording that persons can go to. If you have questions, you can send it directly to the Dr. Youth Foundation and we'll have it answered. If you're in our WhatsApp chat, you can send it there or a direct message to me and we'll have it done. Thank you very much, Jennifer. You did an amazing job in spite of the background circumstances. We know how it goes when I go bust by you. And Jannette, you're awesome as usual. Thank you very much, ladies.
Thank
God
you,
bless
guys.
you.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Right.
Thank you. Good night.
I have to